Last week, Russian forces continued to strike enemy facilities in the rear areas of Kyiv-controlled territory. In Odessa region, a drone park and several closed hangars were hit as a result of Iskander system strike on the Hydroport airfield. In addition, an ammunition depot was destroyed as a result of several Geran drone strikes near the village of Lipchanivka in Kharkiv region. A few days later, the Russian armed forces launched a missile strike on an echelon at the Barvinkov railway station, temporarily obstructing rail traffic. Systematic work to destroy radars in frontline areas also continues. Another radar was hit by a Kh-35 missile near Tarasivka in Dnipro region. At the same time, strikes on enemy power facilities continue unabated. In Chernihiv and Sumy regions, drones attacked high-voltage substations, which caused problems with power supply. The AFU, in turn, dropped some munitions from a drone on one of the shops of a local factory. As a result of the fire, the enterprise was severely damaged. For the first time in a long time, the AFU again carried out a combined attack on targets in Crimea. More than 30 drones and a dozen uncrewed boats were destroyed without reaching their targets. The next day, the AFU fired several ATAK-MS missiles toward Luhansk. 3 missiles were shot down on approach to the city and fell in a field without causing significant damage. In addition, the AFU once again attempted to hit aircraft on the territory of the Milarovo airfield in Rostov region. Over 36 drones were shot down on approach. 4 more hit an administrative building and 2 warehouses. There were no losses of personnel or aircraft. In the zone of the special military operation, Russian troops continued to conduct assault operations at various sections of the front. In the North Ukraine direction, a massive attack by AFU drones was repulsed. About 20 drones were shot down in various areas of the Bryansk region. In the Slobozhanska direction, the situation remained tense along the entire line of contact. The AFU kept up their activity near Hlybok, and fierce fighting continued in the urban area of Vovchansk. On the Kupiansk-Svatov direction, the Russian armed forces broke through the enemy defenses near Berestov. Russian troops control most of Pishchene, while fighting continues on the western outskirts. In the Lyman direction, Russian armed forces expanded their zone of control in the area of the Zhuravka Gully, west of Nevska. Counterfighting and exchange of blows continue in the Serebryansky Y forestry area. In the Siversk direction, in the vicinity of Razdolivka, paratroopers advanced on the heights north of the settlement and consolidated on the outskirts of Perezhna. To the west, fighters from the 123rd Motorized Rifle Brigade broke through the enemy defenses and liberated Ivano-Darivka, having marched about 3 kilometers. There are no visible changes in the front configuration in the Artemovsk direction. Fighting is taking place in the Kalinov area, where Russian troops are trying to cross the Canal district. In the area of Druzhba, on the Oleksandro-Kalinov direction, Russian troops are advancing near the Madlinviksha railway station, occupying Petra Velikoho Street. In Pivnichna, Russian armed forces assault groups occupied most of the Sotsgorodok garden community near Kolarova and Pavlova streets, and also occupied the waste heap of the Yuzhnaya mine in Pivden. On the southern flank, Russian troops are advancing deep into residential areas near the Fenolna railway station. Russian armed forces, supported by armored vehicles, advanced along Zalizna and Radyanska streets towards school number 18. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian troops continue to advance on several sectors of the front at once. Russian troops have reached the western bank of the Vovcha River near Brodok Pond as well as completely liberated Prores and occupied half of Novoselivka, Persia. On the Donetsk direction, by the end of the week, Russian forces had rapidly advanced in Krasnohorivka, occupying the central and northern parts of the city. To the south, the Russian armed forces expanded their zone of control north of Georgiivka and in the forest belts south of it. In the South Donetsk direction, Russian troops are fighting in the fields between the Ikriana and Solinenka gullies. As a result of the assault, one of the enemy positions a few kilometers west of the T-0524 highway came under the control of the Russian armed forces. In the Vremivka direction, Russian troops took full control of Urozhain, clearing the northern outskirts of the village. The AFU also retreated northward from positions near the Mokry Yali River between Urozhain and Staromayorska. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, there were no significant changes in the line of contact during the week. Russian troops are striking enemy positions in the frontline areas, while Russian Aerospace Forces aviation is striking at AFU strongholds. On the Kherson direction, local clashes continue in the island zone of the Dnipro River. The enemy is using drones to lay mines in the river delta and island zone, preventing Russian armed forces reconnaissance groups from monitoring the right bank of the river.